Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is October 4th, and right now we are looking at the infrared satellite imagery at BC, Washington, Oregon. Check out the ridge of high pressure off the coastline, clockwise rotation. This is going to dominate the weather here for the next few days. We're going to have a thermal trough moving up the coastline, some offshore winds, warming things up quite nicely across much of the Puget Sound. But then it looks like on the day Monday, an atmospheric river will be returning to the Pacific Northwest. Some impressive precipitation totals showing up in some of the runs coming in here, and then additional systems after that. We'll take a look at those in some detail as we go through the video today. Look at SeaTac, 64 degrees, right around average, 0.49 officially with that last system rolling through here. And look at 1981, almost 4 inches in a 48-hour period between the 5th and the 6th of October and on into 2003. Look at that, over 5 inches on the day there, October 20th. I was working outside that day and I remember it well. Impressive rainfall total. That SeaTac's record amount of rainfall in a 24-hour period. This is a nice affordable home weather station. Click on that link down below to save 10% off. Stores all that data for you in the cloud, and it's much funner to watch these storms roll in when you've got a weather station attached to your place of residence. Take a look at the European last night's run here. You can clearly see the ridge dominating our weather as we go through Friday, but then the Gulf of Alaska trough gets roaring again by the time we get towards Saturday night, and then the system starts moving in here as we go through the day Sunday and into Monday. Some impressive precipitation totals showing up. We'll look at those in some detail here in a moment as well. But yeah, you can clearly see the pattern change that will be coming after this ridge. This is the GFS last night as well. Let's see if it agrees. You can see the ridge hanging on as we go through Friday here, starting to weaken and move to the east during the day Saturday, and the Gulf of Alaska again gets really roaring here by the time you get in towards Sunday night, and we're going to bring that atmospheric river into the area, and you can see the GFS just continuing with the troughing here as we go on in through next week as well, just kind of being reinforced as we go on to the extended forecast there. And of course, we'll be watching that day by day. This is looking at Seattle, Tacoma. Check it out. Some temperatures maybe up towards 80 degrees here by the time you get towards Saturday. So yeah, get out there and enjoy that late summertime like weather. And you can see as we go through Monday, the pattern change definitely on track here to come in starting about Monday. This is the GFS, 925 millibars. So it's about 2,500 feet above the surface. So it shows you the nice offshore winds that are coming here. As we go through tomorrow morning, you'll probably notice those across the area. And that's probably going to keep a lot of the fog at bay as well, because we're going to kind of bring this little thermal trough up the coastline. We're going to warm things up all the way out to the coast as we go through the end of the week and towards at least the early portion of the weekend here. And then you can see the next storm system start to return here on the GFS. We go through the day Monday, probably an atmospheric river feature pointed at somewhere along British Columbia, Washington, or Oregon during the day Monday. We'll take a look at that here in a moment as well. This is mean sea level pressure. So if I put this into motion, you'll notice this subtle feature here up the coastline. That's what is known as the thermal trough. And that's kind of the result of this big ridge over the top of us here. And you can see the higher pressure inland. Of course, this air wants to flow from high to low. So it pushes out through the terrain features, over the terrain, compression, heating there, and kind of a relative low pressure system off towards the coastline. That's why you get those offshore winds, and things are going to warm up quite nicely here west of the Cascades all the way out to the coastline. This is the National Blend of Models daily 2-meter max temperature here. This would be for today. You can see some mid and upper 60s western Washington, the 70s for western Oregon as well. And then you can see the warm up tomorrow, Friday, even further. Look at some of western Oregon looking mid and upper 80s possible here. And then we get to Saturday, Seattle might get up towards 80 as well. A lot of 80s for the Willamette Valley, warm all the way out to the coastline again. And then Sunday, maybe one more warm day here for portions of western Washington, Oregon, but starting to cool down a bit on the coast. And then you clearly see the pattern change rolling as we go to Monday, Seattle 63, and dropping back down for the Willamette Valley, and even further on Tuesday as we're going to be dealing with onshore flow. By that point, a lot of clouds across the area. Looking at Hoquiam all the way out to the Washington coast. Check it out. You could get to the upper 70s, maybe even towards 80 degrees there for Friday before the pattern change comes roaring in here at the early portion of next week. Tillamook Airport, look at this, that 80-degree day for Friday showing up there. Get out there and enjoy that. And the GFS kind of hinting at some warmer periods maybe on in through mid-October. We'll watch that. You got to take that with a grain of salt at this range. But you can clearly see the pattern change coming early next week. Portland, look at this. You might have 3 days, 80 plus here as you go through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe one more warm day Sunday before that system starts to roll in on the day Monday for much of the area. Eugene, no exception there as well. Nice and warm before the pattern change. Now look at Seattle Tacoma. So there's still some discrepancy here in the GFS ensemble runs here. The control has 2 inches, but you can see there are some with less here. So we got to watch this closely. The mean is just down towards 0.7 of an inch. Pretty nice rainy period here, though. Can help out with some of the dry soil moisture here across some of the Pacific Northwest. And you can see some additional systems out here, but not great model agreement on just what kind of precipitation we can be expecting with this activity. You can see some of these ensemble members do not have any precipitation, so we got to watch carefully to see what kind of systems are coming in our future. This is up Vancouver Island, Tofino. You can see some impressive precipitation signals here with this first wave rolling in here, atmospheric river, and then it kind of gets muddy after that here. Now, looking at Portland, you can see expecting precipitation. The mean is down towards maybe 0.6 of an inch there. The control had over an inch for a 24-hour period, so we'll continue to watch that. You can see the ridge here giving us some nice weather. In the meantime, no signs of precipitation until the system comes rolling in here at late Sunday night into Monday morning. This is Crater Lake, expecting precipitation all the way down towards southern Oregon, as you can see here, and then it kind of gets muddy after you looked at off into the future after that. This is Eugene, expecting some precipitation down for southern portions of the Willamette Valley as well. So this will be nice. I know you guys down there across Oregon have definitely been needing this precipitation. I keep getting comments on just how dry it is across portions of western Oregon. Seattle Tacoma, last night's European run. Now that precipitation is starting to come into view there. This goes out through about Monday night shown here, and you can see that precip starting to roll in here. So that's good news. We'll start to get this information on the European 06Z and the 18Z runs here over the next couple of days. Quilly, you can clearly see this ridge of high pressure over the region, and then the storm track returning here as we go on in through the day Monday. Tillamook, something similar there as well. Now looking at the European last night's run 06Z, put this into motion. You can clearly see us nice and dry here as we go through the day. Friday, Saturday, now we're into Sunday morning, and you'll see the storm system out here. Once we look at things on Sunday morning, you'll definitely see a nice representation on the infrared or the mid-level water vapor loop out of here across the Pacific Ocean. And you can see the strong storm moving up towards Haida Gwaii here, and then the strong frontal system moving through the area. Looks like the European is going to be more progressive versus the GFS with that atmospheric river, so it might push through here a little bit quicker according to the European. But we'll watch that, and we'll work out those details here over the next few days because there's going to be additional systems behind this as well. Looking at the Seattle Fantasy windstorm, you can see a couple of these with 50-mile-per-hour gusts, actually 3 of them there, but you can see maybe a blustery period here as that frontal system goes through, but no promises right now. You can still see great variation here in just how strong these wind gusts will be. Here's Quileute starting to show up here in the European as of last night's run. You can see a few gusts up towards 50 miles per hour as well, so we'll watch that here over the next few days. This is the GFS, so let's see what it shows as far as the 6-hour precipitation type. You can see us dry out and warm up here this weekend. Then the system rolling here. Look at that deep low up towards Haida Gwaii in southeast Alaska, casting this frontal system. You can see more of an atmospheric river feature here on the GFS as we go through the day Monday, kind of bring in a little bit better precipitation amounts all the way down through Southern California as well. But you can see Western BC, Vancouver Island, Western Washington, the Cascades are going to get a pretty good dose of precipitation out of this most likely. You can see some increased amounts across some of the Blue Mountains here, and then maybe across some of the Rockies, getting a little bit of snowfall maybe even for some of the higher terrain here. But yeah, then you can see additional systems there as we continue on in through next weekend as shown there. But we have plenty of time to watch that for now. 6 to 10 day, you can see this near normal starting to show up here along the west coast because we're starting to turn those storms back into our region. 6 to 10 day precipitation. Clearly the above average signal here from much of the Pacific Northwest with the return of the storm track into the area. And this is looking at total precipitation all the way out towards hour 360 on yesterday afternoon's European run. And you can clearly see how the Cascades, they cast that rain shadow here in portions to the east for the most part. But yeah, pretty good signal here coming up over the next couple weeks or so for some measurable precip here. Hope we can put a dent in a lot of the drought here across some of Western Washington, Oregon, and no doubt across British Columbia, and maybe put out some of these fires here for good across a lot of Canada. A record fire season that went on this year. Hopefully we can deal with that. Looking at the GFS, this goes out about 16 days as well. Pretty similar picture here as comparing it to the European. And this is looking at that atmospheric river. You can see Washington, Oregon here. You can see it showing up with some AR4 here along the Washington, Oregon coast. But you can see in the ensemble members here, there's some pretty good disagreement still showing up. Many of them are showing a much weaker atmospheric river here. But at this time of year anyway, this is going to be mostly beneficial for the region here. I mean, you might get some nuisance flooding along some of the Olympic Mountains, some of those south facing slopes and whatnot, but it shouldn't be a big deal. This is definitely going to be beneficial here, and it can help, weten the area, and hopefully it's going to help quench some of the fires there across British Columbia. And yeah, and this is the percent of average precipitation for the last 3 months here. You can see that some areas aren't doing too bad, like the Seattle Metro here. Actually, now when you calculate from July 5th to October 2nd here, actually a little bit above average. But some places like Skagit, Whatcom County, and some of Western Washington, Western Oregon are still, fairly well below average here. And you can kind of see where Tropical Storm Hillary came up through California and Nevada into extreme eastern portions of Oregon and Idaho there. And this is temperature. You can see Western Washington, Western Oregon, at least west of the Cascades, has been pretty well above average here for the last 3 months or so. 2 to 4 degrees for a lot of areas. A little bit below average here, though, for some of eastern Oregon there as well. So just thought I'd point that out here as well. But anyway, hope you guys are liking these videos. Just a reminder, the California videos are moving to a separate new channel called California Weather Watch. So hopefully you guys can subscribe there with any California interest. I'll be posting both videos here on this page for a time and trying to remind everybody to get over there and, make sure you're a member of or a subscriber of that page as well. So anyway, I'll just keep reminding people over the next few weeks. Hope you guys are liking these videos. We'll do this again tomorrow, and we'll try to update everything on that storm train, probably returning to the Pacific Northwest here. Good times. We're getting here into fall, and then things should start to get more active. So anyway, we'll do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.